you will absolutely 100% pay in full for everything that you've done and for everything that you haven't done. I mean, how could it be otherwise? You know, it's like, what are you going to do? Reality isn't going to make itself manifest because of your whim? That's not going to happen. So, and you know, you can think about that religiously or not. There's no escaping from what is. The other thing I learned that was terrifying was I never saw anyone in my therapeutic practice ever get away with anything even once. Like, you know, there's that old idea that God has a book and everything you do is written down. It's like, that's not just an idea. You get away with nothing. And of course it makes sense. It's like, reality is real and you distort and bend it at your peril. And you may produce a rift temporarily, but that will snap closed on you. And you may not even notice the connection between your initial sin, failure to meet the target, to hit the target, and the consequences of that. But the consequences are inevitable. And it's even worse than that, because not only are they inevitable, they tend to multiply. And so all of that, to the degree that I've been capable, has scared me straight, let's say. It's like, no, I'm not going down that path.
I want you to pay attention to the following thing I'm going to say, because it's extremely important, because it's a mindset shift. It is the hard things in life that are the best things in life. It's amazing how God has linked difficulty and value. There is nothing in life which is valuable, which is not hard to obtain and hard to keep. If gold was everywhere, nobody would care about gold. So when you see something as hard, you see something as valuable, and you have to train your mind to be excited by hard things.
If you want what most people don't have, you must be ready to do what most people aren't willing to do. Sacrifice what most people aren't willing to sacrifice. There's a saying that goes, nothing is free. You will pay the price of discomfort, discipline, and change for achieving the things you want, and the price of regret for choosing not to.
You say, well, then how can my life dramatically change? You got to count on yourself. And here's one of the things you got to count on: your ability to design the future. It's called the promise. And the promise of the future, if you'll design it well, can have an awesome effect on your life. But if you face the future with apprehension, you'll take hesitant steps all day, uncertain steps all day. And if you take uncertain steps all day for 6 years, you can imagine how empty your life can be.
The greatest gift God ever gave man is not the gift of sight, but the gift of vision. Why? Because the enemy of vision is sight. Sight is a function of the eyes, but vision is a function of the heart. Never trust your eyes over your vision. Vision shows you what could be. Sight shows you what is. Always live by what you see with your vision, not with your eyes. The Bible says we walk by faith and not by sight.
We will pay the most extraordinary disciplines if we can see the promise of the future, called setting goals. So I'm asking you to get a handle on the future. I'm asking you not to leave it to anyone else. Don't leave it to the company. Company's got their own goals. I'm asking you to set your own goals, your personal goals. Income goals and financial goals and health goals and spiritual goals, and where do you want to go and what do you want to do and what do you want to see and what do you want to be. That's it. Promise of the future. Design your own future. It's within your hands and your capacity to do so.
The best way to end something is to starve it. No reaction, just don't feed it. That's where the true power lies. Where attention goes, energy flows. And when energetic patterns are broken, new worlds emerge. Don't return negative energy. Remove yourself and create a new algorithm.
Everything in the world around us was finished in the mind of its creator before it was started. The houses we live in, the cars we drive, our clothing, our furnishings, all of these things began with an idea. Each idea was then studied, refined, and perfected, either mentally or on paper, before the first nail was driven or the first piece of cloth was cut. Long before the idea was converted into a physical reality, the mind had clearly envisioned the finished product. The human being designs his or her own future through much the same process. We begin with an idea about how the future will be. Over a period of time, we refine and perfect the vision. Before long, our every thought, decision, and activity are all working in harmony to bring into existence what we have mentally concluded about the future. This is why having the right attitude about both past and present circumstances is so important. When we have a healthy attitude about the past and constructive feelings about ourselves and our present opportunities, we subconsciously guide ourselves toward the achievement of our dreams. However, when we are filled with regrets about the past and concerns about the present, then we subconsciously lead ourselves toward a future that is very much like the past we have just left behind. The thoughts and feelings we allow ourselves to have today are crucial, for they are contributing to our future. What that future holds will simply be a mirror image of our current philosophy and attitude about life. There is a very special emotional magic that takes place when we design the future and set new goals with a specific purpose in mind. As we see the future clearly in our mind's eye, we experience a level of excitement in anticipation of the day when all that we dream will become a reality. The more clearly we see the vision of the future, the more we are able to borrow from its inspiration. This borrowed inspiration finds its way into our conversations, our energy level, our relationships, and our attitude. The more excited we become by our future dreams, the easier it is to develop the necessary disciplines and make the refinements to our philosophy. In other words, our dreams inspire us to think and act and feel, and become exactly the kind of person we must be to realize our dreams. If we are intelligent enough to invest our experiences of the past, and wise enough to borrow the excitement and inspiration of the future by clearly seeing that future in the mind's eye, then past experiences and future excitement become today's servant. The finished product we foresee guides us in our present efforts, making the attainment of the better future an inevitable conclusion. We become pulled by the future and guided by the past because we have chosen to take intelligent action in the present. The unique ability we have for investing our past experiences and borrowing inspiration from the future is an incredible force. And the good news is, anyone can do it. We all have the capacity for designing the future in advance so that when the new day arrives, it is more than it might have been simply because we used part of our past and our future to create it. The power of the future is an awesome force. What can be has the power to drive us to do all that we can do. The promise of the future is not free. There is a price to be paid for any future reward. The price the future exacts from us involves discipline, labor, consistency, and a burning desire to make the future better than either the past or the present. Those are the price tags of progress. But the price gets easy when the promise becomes clear. When the end becomes attractive, we become keenly interested in the means. We must see and want the promise with an insatiable desire, or the price it requires will overcome our wishes, and we will fall back to where we once were. If we are sincere about wanting a better life, we must ask ourselves what we see in our future that is fueling our fires of confidence and excitement. How much of that future do we actually see and believe deep within our own souls that we will achieve? Is it clear enough in our minds and hearts to drive us out of bed each morning and keep us up late each night? Are we so locked in on the target we have selected that we can brush away any obstacle and disappointment? In our desire to change ourselves and our current circumstances, are we fully prepared to go over, under, around, and through whatever challenge life throws at us? We cannot move casually into a better future. We cannot casually pursue the goal we have set for ourselves. A goal that is casually pursued is not a goal. At best, it is a wish, and wishes are little more than self-delusion. Wishes are an anesthetic to be used by the unambitious, a narcotic that dulls their awareness of their own desperate condition. It is possible to plan our future so carefully and so clearly that when the plan is complete, we can become so inspired by it, it will become our magnificent obsession. The challenge is to let this obsession fuel the fire that heats our talent and our skills to the boiling point so that we are propelled into a whole new future. As we become serious about designing the future in advance, we derive an immediate emotional benefit. The future is exciting. The more clearly we see the future, and the more keenly we sense its promise, the more positive our attitude becomes that we can and will achieve our dreams. It is this new attitude that will provide us with renewed ambition for progress, and the faith that we really can move mountains.